Okay, well, congratulations, champions. We're going to first recognize our coaches. Coach Tony DiLorenzo, Coach Jason, one at a time. Come on up.
Get a
Come on up.
certificate, no?
And then once you come up and get your certificate, please stay up here.
Right, because I'm sure they're going to want to
Coach
take a-
Jason Silverstein. Coach Bobby Chereau. Congratulations. Coach Andy Smedley. And Coach Rob Palmley.
Thank you for doing this. And now
Thank
for
you,
the
coaches.
children.
Thank you, Councilman Kumala, for cutting them for us. Okay, all right, for now, for our young champions, our young athletes. First, Robbie Chereau. Come on up. Congratulations. There you go, congrats. Gino Gorga.
We'll give it to the coaches.
Okay. Joey Yesis. Apologize for any names I don't get perfectly.
That's why he's
Congratulations.
reading them.
Nick DiLorenzo. Congratulations, Nick.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Brandon Causialis. Not here. Vincent Malazia. Congratulations, Vincent. Paul Toscanos.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Paul.
Oh, you got your certificate.
Chris Rosmond. Congratulations. Anthony DiLorenzo.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. CJ Anzaldo.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Joey Lorino. Congratulations, Joey. Ben Piotrowski. Congratulations. The Polish names. Joey Schiafano. Joey Gorga.
Not yet.
Coach John Yeezys.
Yes, yes.
Oh, Zach Silverstein. Congratulations, Jack. All right. Logan Palmy. Congratulations. Ryan Chereau. So I got some coaches. Coach Mike Anzaldo.
Anzaldo.
There it is. You're probably wondering if I call the coaches before I put it in.
We weren't forgotten.
We didn't forget about you. Congratulations, Mike.
Thank you.
Ryan Smedley. Congratulations. Liam Gimple.
Yep.
Congratulations, Liam. And Roman Churchu.
And to the whole team and the coaches, thank you and congratulations.
The next most important thing, if we could all get right over here and line up, the tallest in the back, and everybody get in the line, we're going to take a big group picture. But congratulations to all our young athletes. You've honored our community. You honored all of Oakland, your parents, your family. Congratulations to all of you too. What you did for our entire community really boosted up. The morale of all of Oakland has been boosted thanks to the time and effort and sacrifice that you gave.
Yes. Like them?
Now guys, remember, once you're champs for life. So always look back on this experience with a smile, and always remember, you're always champions here in Oakland.
We'll get some coaches on this side too.
I know.
All right. What's that? Everybody, please hold up your certificates and see the man in the blue jacket, handsome guy right there.
That's
Look
Michael.
right at him. That's Michael. And everybody say cheese.
Cheese.
Let me just say one thing real quick. Mike Guadagnino, Rec Chair. Wrestling is the one program we did not have last during the COVID, because obviously, because of the activity. I really want to thank the coaches and the parents for staying with us, because this is how programs die. And this program didn't die. This program actually took off. And look what we have here today because of it. I want to thank all the coaches, especially Bobby, who runs the program for us. And thank you very much, and great job, guys. Really great job.
Way to go, guys. Lastly, if you want, you can start down to Councilman Kamala, and everybody in a row, you can come down the row and shake hands with all the elected officials here in town.
That good on the picture? Ben, start us off. Walk behind. First time ever Millwall's come. That we
So-
won the dual league championship.
So one more quick announcement, guys. I guess it wasn't said. It was the first time in Oakland history that the wrestling team was champions. Coach, you want to say anything further?
No, it's like you said, it's the first time that the team has ever come together and won the dual league championships. It was a big accomplishment. We're proud of these boys, and we're ready for next year.
Go get them. You got it.
I'm more happy with shaking hands. I'm really not for a grip anymore. Thanks. I don't know what time. This file. Great. This is great.
So we'll keep going until the other group comes. All right, so what we'll do is keep going until the girls' team comes. It's the girls' basketball team. Great, thank you. What is it? Who is it? No, who, oh my God, it's what we're smelling as well. So, we're going to continue with the regular agenda until the girls' basketball team arrives. So at this time, I usually give my mayor's report. And as you are all aware, last week, the school budget was defeated. And I want you to know that what happens next, the procedure next, is that it goes to the council to review the budget. The council can either, the elected officials can either accept the budget as is and say, okay, this is it, there are no cuts, or they can cut it. We have until May 19th to vote on a resolution as to what we plan on doing. We all have the packets that we received from the school board. We will be meeting, our first meeting to review the budget is on Monday of next week. And just so you understand the procedure, if the council says, all right, you can cut 200,000 and gives the examples where they should cut, column A, column B, column C, the school board could say, okay, we could cut 200,000, but we're cutting it from column D, E, and F. We give suggestions on how to cut if we decide to cut. Since there was it did vote down, and we have to answer to the public, we are the elected officials, We promised to review the budget in its entirety and do a good job in reviewing it, and we will work with the school board and see what we can do. I noticed that the Bergen County Division of Senior Services is hosting a public hearing on the needs of older adults in Bergen County on Thursday, May 12th at 9 a.m. at the County Administration Building in Hackensack. It's open to all Bergen County residents, 60 and older, you have to be 60 years old, and caregivers and agencies serving older adults. It's posted, I've asked the borough to post it on our social media, all the details on going to the meeting and what you have to do. So that's on May 12th, a Thursday morning at 9 a.m. And I'm trying to keep it short today because we have so many children that we want to really congratulate, and we also have a couple of them of presentations. Important dates to remember: tomorrow night, Arbor Day event at the Senior Center at 7:30 p.m. Look forward to it, and thank you. And Clerk, you're arranging, so it's at the Senior Center inside, correct? Mm-hmm. Yes, that's tomorrow night, Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. Saturday, May 14th, shredding in Municipal Plaza in front of the Municipal Building. Bring your documents for shredding. Thursday, May 19th, is the Mayor's Wellness Blood Drive. Sunday, May 29th, thank you, Mame. We're having a Memorial Day parade, and it's going to be on Sunday, the day before Memorial Day, as we usually do it. Saturday, June 4th, is fever pitch for the baseball and softball teams, and I'm told there's going to be a lot of activities at the rec field. I just got a few words about it, but it sounds very exciting. And details will follow. I just wanted everybody to save the date so you know. And on Wednesday through Saturday, June 15th through June 18th is our annual carnival. And I just received this yesterday. There is a pet food bank for Bergen County residents starting May 8th, sponsored by the county and the SPCA. The No Empty Bowls Pet Food Bank is a collaboration between the county animal shelter and the local SPCA. Free pet food and necessary supplies are available for Bergen County residents in need, and it will be at the animal shelter, 100 United Way in Teterboro. The No Empty Bowls program will run Sundays from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., excluding holidays. So if you know of anybody who is short with funds and need pet food, this is a free pet food food bank. However, identification is required and the supplies are reserved for Bergen County residents only. You don't have to make an appointment. If you need pet food or you need pet supplies, you can go as long as you have ID that you're a Bergen County resident. And with that, motion to open to the public.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wish to speak, come up to the podium.
Vivian King,
Address.
113 Hiawatha Boulevard.
Thank you.
Full disclosure, I am a member of the Round Hill Indian Hills Board of Education. I am also a member of the Zoning Board. All of my comments today are me as a resident of Oakland and are not meant to be the views of anyone on any board upon which I serve. So there was an incident on November 9th. I spoke about this 2 meetings ago, I believe. Mr. Rose called me the C word for female genitalia, the derogatory term. There was an investigation. The findings were issued on March 9th, 2022. Today is April 27th. I still have seen no remediation. I still have seen no punishment to Mr. Rose. I've received no apology from anyone. What I have seen is Mr. Rose continue to attend and participate in zoning and planning board meetings. So just to be clear, again, Mr. Rose called me the C word, C-U-N-T, a derogatory term for female reproductive parts, okay? At a public meeting where people attend from the public, and an independent investigation found wrongdoing, and yet it is business as usual in Oakland. Do we not have a code of conduct? I sat on the rec commission for more than one term. I've seen parents banned from the rec field for less than this. Does Mr. Rose not have to follow the same rules as our parents and children? Or is the fact that Mr. Rose contributed to most of your campaigns what gives him a pass today? What kind of example are each of you setting for our children when there are no consequences for the adults in our midst? Thank you.
Our attorney is running late tonight, and when he comes, we will have him comment. Anybody else?
Kevin Heffernan, 40 Grove Street, Oakland, New Jersey. I am just the MC tonight for the school presentation and replacing Tom Connolly. Pretty big shoes to fill. The purpose of this presentation is to discuss...
We're not doing the presentation now, this is just public comment.
This is public comments.
Right.
Sorry.
Oh, do you want to, but you're given a time frame for the presentation. If you do public comment, you have 3 minutes. Can you speak in 3 minutes?
Nope. Not a chance.
I didn't think so.
Okay, I'll sit down and shut up.
Okay. Just sit there patiently, impatiently. Anybody else wish to speak during public comment? Motion?
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And as I said, once our attorney comes, because it was his office that conducted the investigation. Approval of minutes, April 3rd, 2022.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? If none, roll call.
Councilman Kamala.
Abstain, I was not present.
Councilman Vinatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Saliani.
Yes.
Councilman Slisinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
We have executive meeting minutes from April 13th, 2022. If there's going to be any discussion or any changes, it must be made during executive session. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Is there going to be any discussion? And if not, roll call.
Councilman Kamala.
Abstain, I was not present.
Councilman Vinatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Saliani.
Yes.
Councilman Slisinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
We have, we recognized the wrestling team. As soon as the third grade girls basketball champions come, we will recognize them. We'll stop what we're doing. I have a proclamation for Arbor Day. Whereas in 1870, this is very interesting. I wish the children were here to hear this. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now therefore, I, Linda H. Schwager, Mayor of the Borough of Oakland, do hereby proclaim April 29th as Arbor Day, In our community of Oakland, I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, I ask and urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden hearts and promote the well-being of present and future generations. And once again, I invite you all tomorrow night, 7:30, Senior Center, for the Arbor Day event. Okay. We have an appointment for the Public Events Committee. And Jim Bogerts, who has been unbelievable in our town and everything he's done for our children, wants to be on the Public Events Committee, and he will get the appointment that expires December 31st, 2023. Now, public events, and that's your committee, correct?
Yes.
We have some valuable members who have not turned in their citizen leadership form. Mame, Joe, Michael, Robert is up.
Yeah,
Two
because
Roberts.
It was
Those,
these
right.
ones up there.
Right,
Yeah.
so Michael, Joe, and Mame. Mame is doing all the work. She's doing the Memorial Day Parade. She's organizing it. She was unbelievable at the Easter egg hunt. Please send in your citizen leadership form. Joe, I mean, he's always there.
Always there.
And Mike Kozak, who was invaluable with his line striping and his maps, so we need him. Please send in your citizen leadership forms. So is this is not my appointment. This is at council, so is there motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Fulber. All right, now, presentation of Bush Plaza. You have a little more than 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mayor.
Oh, thank you.
The first slide that you see is particularly potent in the sense that
Here's the slides.
it's, yes, first slide,
Okay.
the cover slide.
Now, hang on.
That's phase one, okay, introducing Bush Plaza Park Phase One for the renewal of downtown. And we mean this very seriously. Bush Plaza is the entrance to downtown. It's what visitors see, is what you and I see every day, it's what potential homeowners see. And frankly, it's terrible. There's no question about that. We all know that. Now the question is, what are we gonna do about it? Mike? In late February, Mayor
That's
Slater
you.
authorized the establishment of the Bush Plaza Park Ad Hoc Committee and appointed members to serve on it. On March 8th, within 2 weeks, the first team meeting was held. And we moved like the wind with a very specific purpose. We moved seriously, we moved consciously. And the team I can't say enough about, I really can't. Unfortunately, Tom Connolly cannot be here today, he's ill. But I must tell you, the team was affected primarily because of Tom's spectacular leadership. He did things and directed things and encouraged us to think hard, to think well and think things through. And he was successful. The team members include Ed Clark, landscape architect, second to none. Mike Guadino, Parks Commissioner. Lee Heyman, environmental specialist,
Also sick.
also sick, yes. Steve Salamini, council liaison, I thank you. John Kimmick, borough engineer. And Mike Corelli, borough administrator, unless I forget Mr. Coons. No, so, each member brought a particular expertise to the party and a particular point of view. Points of view had to be recognized and reconciled. But the expertise contributed to everything. And the first thing we did was elect Tom as the chairman. And the first thing that was done as him as chairman was develop a mission statement, our purpose. Why are we here? What are we doing? Our purpose, Mike, our purpose is to make, quote, this is directly from the meeting notes, to make the enhancement of Bush Plaza a reality as soon as possible, such that it acts as a seed to begin the revitalization of the downtown area. It is the pivotal point of a triad, which we'll see in a moment. The phrase, Mike, a high tide raises all ships, was made popular by John Kennedy in 1963 when he ran for president. However, the phrase is 4,000 years old, if you do some research on it. And it really is true. Oakland values are 100K, provably, 100K to 125K below surrounding towns. Why? Take a drive through downtown, you can get kind of a hint. And with the notion of high tide, what does that really mean? Right? It means the resurrection of downtown and the renewal of civic pride for all of Oakland. The point, the time has arrived. The future of downtown Oakland begins tonight. Let's take a look at the current, Mike, here we go. Thank you, ahead of me. Let's take a look at the current Oakland entrance. It just ain't pretty, folks. It just isn't. I mean, it is sad, it is tired, it is worn, and it doesn't work, not at all. Now, if we look at that, okay, there's an aspect to it that I think is a palette, an artist's palette. And the artist's palette, you know, he starts with a blank canvas, and he makes something beautiful. Think Michelangelo. Think the great painters. That's what we have in Ed. It really is true. Slide. This is the canvas of the artist. It literally is a drawing from downtown, leaving out the ugliness, leaving out the things that we all find rather distasteful. So, ladies and gentlemen, tonight I give you Bush Plaza Park. Mike, there we go. My favorite slide.
You're doing,
Yes, the system is lousy.
It's a different one. It's a different one.
We've talked about that.
that's your next project.
The point here is, Bush Plaza's been the way it is roughly since 1958 when the train station was destroyed. Okay, lack of vision, fine. But that piece of geography has suffered also for the last 60 plus years the same lack of vision. I mean, just no one cares. I mean, we had the military academy destroyed in '63, and that took down a lot of the buildings along Raffle Valley Road because they owned them. And so what are we left with for the last 60 years? A lousy downtown. It has to stop. And the first place of stopping it is with the entrance into town. The park layout, slide. Here we go. You see, this is the plan that, well, up until this morning, I was pretty happy when the revised estimates came in. This is the plan that Ed developed. And as you can see, the area in white and green is the park layout. It covers not just the point from West Oakland Avenue through Raffle Valley Road, but it covers on the other side of what I call the Enterprise Building. And it is comprehensive, is extraordinarily well done, and serves Oakland very, very well. The elements of the park, slide. We're going to see a four-sided clock. We're going to see a flagpole. We're going to see a Walgreens style streetlights. That style was selected because they're already there. And rather than have different or more elaborate or whatever streetlights, we decided to continue with the Walgreens notion. We're going to have irrigated grass. Right now the grass is not irrigated, and it sure looks that way. 12 shade trees and a rain garden to accept the runoff from the macadam. The elements now in place, slide, are streetlights, asphalt, trees, green grass lawn, irrigated, a flagpole, a clock. And as you can see, there is provision there for a driveway to the right side of the building, which is owned by the building owner. So we have to provide an entrance there. Nonetheless, the parking space to the left of the building remains. Before and after, there's no comparison. Nobody in their right mind can say we shouldn't do this. Nobody can say that this is not money's very, very well spent, and time well spent in doing it. So how are we going to do this project? I mean, this is nice, okay, all these pretty pictures and things and good words. We have a plan. What I'm presenting to you is cost, funding, and development. And I'll say up front, we will not discuss cost tonight. We just got new cost estimates in, and we will have to look at those, okay, and come back to you with a presentation and a revised plan. There's no question about it. There's simply, since this morning to tonight, there was no time to do it, sorry. There's no time to meet. Anyway, so let's take a first look at the cost. And this is broad stroked. These costs are not fully accurate at this moment. So, with the total cost next, without discussion, is $390,000. And this is the point from, I believe, Mr. Yamick and Ed met with Mr. Kuntz, correct me if I'm wrong, and decided these costs need to be updated, okay, with labor costs and materials costs and things of that nature. So, anyway, this is the starting point of the costs. This is not the end point. So the funding, how are we going to get, pretend for a second we're $400,000 roughly, how are we going to get this money? Funding, interesting slide, good. The development of Bush Park is contingent upon a grant from Bergen County. And a letter of intent was sent by Mr. Kuntz on April 8th, 2022, saying we're going to apply. And an order of magnitude, a rough order of magnitude for the amount, were not held to it. The formal grant application, though, the formal grant, saying here's what we really want and need, is due May 6th. Not a lot of time, folks. But that's a sacred date. If we don't do it by May 6th, we're not going to get the grant. We're not going to have a possibility of getting a grant regardless of the amount that's offered. It's anticipated the grant will be made by midsummer 2023, roughly a year from now, a year plus from now. That's disappointing, but it is what it is. Construction, considering the look of the park and what has to be done, is we would like this to be completed by the fall of 2023. Grants in June, October. Should be plenty of time to do what we have to do. And it assumes matching funds for the calendar year from the town of 2023. It's a 50-50 grant type of process, as I'm told. In terms of the development of the park, this is particularly interesting. The plan we developed is really 3 phases. And there's the park infrastructure, electric, sprinkler systems, etc. There's a primary park development, the flagpole, because it calls for moving the flagpole from its current location to the center of town, to the center of the park itself. So it becomes a beacon that can be seen with the clock from West Oakland Avenue, from coming down Raffle Valley Road, and from Yapa. It's simple features that are elegant and sophisticated in their expression. These phases are not etched in stone. There are many phases that we'll have to take a look at closely. There are many phases that some will live, some will not live, some will be modified. We don't know at this point, because the situation, frankly, is still fluid. The phase development is contingent upon, also, the amount and type of funding we get. If we get not as much as we asked for, well, we have to go back and look at the phases and see what we can do. Maybe the phases were done in 2024, 2025. I don't know. We just don't know at this point. So this is a transitional presentation, and I apologize for that. I'd much rather give a final summary. Now, when we, oh, you better put the slide. You're ahead of me, Mike. Bush Plaza Park is transformative. It's a transformative first step. It's renewal for downtown Oakland. It signals we're serious. Both the cultural and current residents and future generations that follow us will say thank you. Seriously say thank you. Look around other towns, they say thank you when things like this happen. And I have no doubt there'll be praise for current and future generations. Stand tall when you approve this. Stand very tall. Yeah, and be proud. And be Oakland. Be who we are. Just very proud people. They can do this. I want to thank the mayor, who's negotiated with the owner of Seals Strip Mall, Ed Becker. I know the guy well. I had lunch with him several times. A very interesting guy. When we were developing developing Station Park, I had lunch with Ed. And he said to me, and he's very involved, he lives in Hohokus. He owns the Seals Strip Mall.
Does everybody know where Seals is?
Probably
No,
not.
he said no.
Only the old timers would.
Yeah.
I guess you're not an old timer. It's where Junior's Pizza is and,
Yeah, and the oil parts store.
right. That's the shopping center, it's called Seals.
And he said to me when we're trying to develop Station Park, he said, if you do that, here's what I'm gonna do. I mean, he was very excited. He didn't get this way often from Hohokus where he lives, but now he's been here many times. He sees the vitality of Oakland. He sees the potential. He may even see it better than we, because he's from the outside. You know, and he was very impressed, very, very impressed. And Bush Plaza Park will equally impress him. But what you've done, Mayor, is you convinced him, okay, to remove that rusted, ugly steel fence. Okay? And when this park starts getting its trainer wheels, if you will, and we go further down the road and we develop this stream house, okay? I'm gonna bring all those three elements together and have lunch with Ed again and say, Ed, here's what we're doing. Here's proof behind the pudding, here's action behind the words. And I am sure he's gonna remove that. And I'm sure he's gonna plant some line of shrubs or whatever. That's gonna be anything.
He needs
better than
the curb stoppers, that's what he
and
needs.
curb stoppers, okay, to replace the fence, and then a line of shrubs, okay, to hide the curb stoppers. It's not a big deal, just has to pull it, it's not required. I want to thank also Eric. Councilman Kamal has introduced a resolution authorized by the state NJSA 40A20-1, which authorizes tax abatements to business that enhance their properties. And I know businessmen already who are anxious, willing, and able to sign up for this. We just need to pass the law. It's not a big lift, it really isn't. Countless other towns in New Jersey have done this, and we should join them, and they've benefited from it. Take a ride through Boonton. It's a beautiful little town now. I remember Boonton when. Okay, it's a beautiful, lovely little town. In other towns, Fairlawn's doing it, Burgerfield's done it, Hackensack's doing it. And now, with Eric, and I thank you, okay, he's proposing that we do it. Doesn't cost Oakland a dime. Now, I also want to thank every member of this council, every member of the administration who has supported and worked hard with passion, vision, to create a better Oakland. Thank you all. We can do this. Now let's do it.
It says Ed Clark. Oh, that's it?
That's it.
Oh, so, the grants, I have a question. There are some grants that we can't start, ahead of time, but we can fundraise also.
We
Is
can
that correct?
fundraise and we
Will
can.
that be a detriment to us applying for the grants?
No. No, this is a 50-50 matching grant, essentially. There's nothing that precludes us from seeking other grant funds and donations to offset what the borough's portion of the project would be.
Which is something that is being discussed about the fundraising part.
Set up, SAO set up.
Nothing is set up yet.
No, the SAO was set up.
Oh, they did
It's
set it up?
yeah,
Yeah,
it's already-
set up.
Yes, as 501c3, that's excellent. It's gonna be great, thank you so much.
This is a public hearing, so you have to open to the public.
Oh, a motion's open.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Who would like to speak? Motion?
Close. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
To the entire committee, first of all, Kevin, thank you for the presentation. I'm sorry that both Tom and Lee are homesick, but I'm sure they're watching and taking tests. Ed, thank you for your expertise with everything. I mean, this is you. You put this together. Thank you. Mike, and your contacts with the SAO. I mean, you're incredible, the organization. Councilman Saliani, thank you for being a part of this. You wanted to.
It's a great group. They made it easy.
It was a good fit to have you in that group. Our engineer, Mr. Kunz, and Mike, our I guess, the slide mover. But the mover and shaker, actually. But thank you. Excellent, thank you so much. It's gonna be great. And we have the public hearing, and now we can move forward with the grants.
And you have a resolution on the agenda tonight
Yes.
to authorize the submittal.
Yes, thank you for putting this together, the packet. And thank you, Ed, for your designs. We have public hearing on the budget as introduced.
So moved?
Second.
We have to have a public hearing, so is there a motion to open to the public?
Motion to open the public?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody wish to speak? Motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 22-128, budget adoption. I'm going to let you do that since you're the finance chair. Would
So
you like
moved.
to move the resolution?
Read the resolution.
Well, not the whole resolution,
Yeah,
but
you
you
don't have to read the whole
could
resolution.
you could
Title.
summarize.
22-128.
Yes. Adoption of budget.
Be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Borough of Oakland, County of Bergen, that the budget hereinbefore set forth is hereby adopted and shall constitute an appropriation for the purposes stated of the sums therein set forth as appropriations and authorization of the amount of $15,720,530.73 for municipal purposes and $289,539.26 open space, recreation, farmland, and historic preservation trust levy, $920,718 minimum library tax. And the summary of revenues: general revenues surplus anticipated $1,870,000, miscellaneous revenue anticipated $3,901,221.27, receipts from delinquent taxes $10,000, amount to be raised by taxation for municipal purposes $15,720,530.73. The amount to be raised by taxation library levy, $920,718. Total revenues being $22,422,470. And summary of appropriations. General appropriations, this is with caps, operations including contingent, $14,994,444. The deferred charges and statutory expenditures, $2,148,222. Operations, $1,375,639. Capital improvements, $1,142,370. Municipal debt service, $2,256,795. Sorry, I didn't say that right. $2,256,795. Deferred charges municipal, $40,000. And reserve for uncollected taxes, $465,000. The total appropriations being $22,422,470. So moved.
Second? Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Pianatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Saliani.
Yes.
Councilman Slisinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Eck.
Yes.
And we have resolutions. We can do that as a consent agenda, and if you wish any pulled out, let me know. We'll start with resolution, and all these have been discussed before. 22-129, support the bail reform measures. As you know, we discussed this, and we're very concerned about, have strong interest in protecting the safety of its residents, employees, and others who may live, work, or travel through its borders. And crime and criminal activity is a statewide issue. And arrest and apprehension of criminal defendants serves the public interest by preventing repeat incidents of criminal activity. An unintended consequence of criminal justice reform law has been releasing pending trial of individuals charged with serious crimes and those individuals being accused of commission of additional serious crimes. And the New Jersey Assembly is currently considering a bill, A 2426, which would amend the criminal justice reform law to include a rebuttable presumption of pre-trial detention to individuals charged with a firearm-related crime. 22-130, reforms to vehicular pursuit policy. As you know, we've discussed this many times. There's a lot of car thefts throughout the state, and especially in Bergen County and in Oakland. And this is a resolution to support reforms to vehicular pursuit policy, giving the police the opportunity to be able to pursue a crime and criminal. 22-131, authorize refund of recreation fees to the Blank family, 21 Seton Hall Drive, $60 for rec lacrosse. 22-132, authorize grant application to the Bergen County Open Space, Recreation, Floodplain Protection, Farmland, and Historic Preservation Trust Fund for the Borough of Oakland Bush Plaza Revitalization Project. 22-133, authorize grant application to Association of New Jersey Environmental Commissioners for Great Oak Park, the GIS Mapping Project. 22-134, resolution confirming submission of a request for community project funding to the office of U.S. Congressman Josh Gottheimer for the Borough of Oakland Emergency Generator Project. 22-135, resolution confirming submission of a request for community project funding to the office of U.S. Senator Cory Booker for the Borough of Oakland Emergency Generator Project. 22-136, authorizing confirming submission of a request for community project funding to the office of U.S. Senator Robert Menendez for the Borough of Oakland Emergency Generator Project. 22-137, resolution confirming submission of a request for community project funding to the office of U.S. Congressman Josh Gottheimer for the Borough of Oakland Electric Vehicle Charging Station Project. 22-138, resolution confirming submission of a request for community project funding to the office of U.S. Senator Cory Booker for the Borough of Oakland Electric Vehicle Charging Station Project. 22-139, excuse me, resolution confirming submission of a request for community project funding to the office of U.S. Senator Robert Menendez for the Borough of Oakland Electric Vehicle Charging Station Project. 22-140, resolution confirming submission of a request for community project funding to the office of U.S. Congressman Josh Gottheimer for the Borough of Oakland's Patriots Way Bridge superstructure replacement. 22-141, resolution confirming submission of a request for community project funding to the office of U.S. Senator Cory Booker for the Borough of Oakland's Patriots Way Bridge superstructure replacement. 22-142, resolution confirming submission of a request for community project funding to the office of U.S. Senator Robert Menendez for the Borough of Oakland's Patriots Way Bridge superstructure replacement. 22-143, authorize contract renewal for Hoplite Communications LLC. The borough has to retain a consultant to provide municipal services with regard to the borough's communication carriers, as carrier agreements and facilities are beyond the scope and expertise of professionals normally utilized by the borough. And Peter J. Lupo of Hoplite Communications will serve as consultant at no cost to the borough for the term of January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2022. 22-144, authorized release of bond, West Bergen Mental Health Care. West Bergen Mental Health posted a New Jersey subdivision site plan bond with the Borough of Oakland in the amount of $397,200. And whereas the aforementioned site improvement bond was posted April 2009 in connection with proposed on-site improvement at 12 West Oakland Avenue, and they have requested a release of the bonds. 22-145, authorized computer network upgrade project. Altitude Unlimited has a state contract M7000 for data communications projects and services, and they submitted a proposal in the amount of $217,496.41 for the equipment and services required for the computer network upgrade project. Our CFO has certified that funds are available. 22-146, authorized to hire a deputy borough clerk. The borough is in need to hire a deputy borough clerk. The Borough Council believes such action would be in the best interest of the borough, and hereby this resolution will be to hire Wendy Francis Seelan as Deputy Borough Clerk effective May 16th, 2022, at an annual salary of $48,000. 22-147, authorize amendment to the ACO. Borough of Oakland owns and operates the Skyview Highbrook Sewage Treatment Plant. The treatment plant is operated pursuant to the New Jersey Pollutant Discharge Elimination System Permit NJ 00-21342. And in accordance with the permit, it has been submitting various discharge monitoring reports to the NJDEP. July 2020 period, the Skyview Highbrook Sewage Treatment Plant violated the NJP DES permit limitation for total copper, entered into an administrative consent order on July 17, 2020 to address the total copper violation. Settlement agreement has been reviewed by special counsel, as recommended that same be executed on behalf of the Borough of Oakland. And 22-148, NJDEP has adopted groundwater quality standards and maximum contaminant levels, that's called MCLs, effective June 1st, 2020 for PFAS, PFOA, and PFOS. These new standards are significantly lower, and I repeat, significantly lower than the recommended guidance by the United States Environmental Protection Agency. Well number 10 has exceeded the MCLs established by the New Jersey DEP for PFOA and PFOS, although the contaminant level is below the standard set by the US EPA, it is above the standard established by the NJDEP, and the NJDEP requires to establish a funding program in order that municipalities can address necessary remediation to their water systems. Does anybody wish to have any pulled out? If not, motion.
I want to pull out 22-145.
The computer network.
Yes.
Got it. Anybody else? All motions, all resolutions other than 145, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Well, roll call.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Saliani.
Yes.
Councilman Slisinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Vanna.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to resolution 20-145, authorized computer network upgrade project. Yes,
I just have a couple quick
Sure.
questions for the Borough Administrator.
absolutely.
When was the last time we upgraded our network?
The first network was put in place 7 years ago.
So this is 7 years. So with this upgrade, does it deal with cybersecurity enhancements? Does it deal with the other things that we're facing? We're going with?
It does. Cybersecurity is certainly part of it. There's switches and components that, just by virtue of the fact that the hardware is so old, security protocols are out of date. That was noted in a cybersecurity assessment that we had done last year. And then it also replaces servers, upgrades our capacity, system performance, data storage, et cetera. Everything we normally get with that sort of
And
project.
do we have an expected life with this upgrade?
Probably 5 to 7 years, probably looking at about the same time frame.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Anybody else? If not, motion,
Motion.
Second.
roll call.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Saliani.
Yes.
Councilman Slisinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Vanna.
Yes.
Okay, we have some ordinances, final adoption. First, we open to the public, then we adopt. 22 Code 883 Shade Tree Ordinance. Is there a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Would someone like to speak on the Shade Tree Ordinance? You're getting up, I'm waiting for you.
Again, thank you for everyone's time.
Or you have to give your name and
Edward
address,
Clark,
sorry.
6 Morton Place. Thank you for everyone's time working on this, the back and forth, the compromise, getting something that works for all residents the best we could. Look forward to seeing this move through and looking back and being proud of what we did. Oh, shit. Sorry. That's all I have. I'm here. If there's any questions, I'm here.
Could you now put it on mute? Thank you. Ed, I want to thank you and the Shade Tree Commission. How long? grant, and Steve, how long were you working on this?
I was given the challenge when I took over from Councilman Levy,
How long
Council
ago?
President Levy, 2 years, 2 years ago?
About 2 years.
2 years in the works.
And I know we had many discussions and public hearings on this and back and forth about, and great, thank you so much.
Great job.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else who wishes to speak on this?
Motion to close?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there a motion to adopt?
So
Motion.
moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Pinatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Saliani.
Yes.
Councilman Slisinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
Now we have the ordinance 22, code 884. It's an ordinance amending chapter 17, section 1.5 of the code of the Borough of Oakland, entitled Civil Service Eligibility Residence Preference. Just, Mr. Carnes, a quick summary.
Sure.
Very quick.
It establishes a residency preference for hiring of police officers in accordance with the provisions of the relevant statute. There won't be any residency preference in hiring for civilian positions.
And there are 4 categories, and it says, the borough shall classify all duly qualified applicants for the position to be filled in the following classes. Class 1, residents of the Borough of Oakland. Class 2, other residents of Bergen County. Class 3, other residents of the state of New Jersey. And Class 4, all other qualified applicants. Is there a motion to open to the public?
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes. You can speak.
Kevin Heffern, 40 Grove Street, Oakland, New Jersey. Is there, I put this in a question, is there a preference for veterans in the hiring practice, Mr. Coates?
The preference for veterans and disabled veterans comes from civil service itself. It's nothing that we need to specify ourselves.
Can we?
No, that is something that civil service automatically does when people take the test and they generate a list.
Yes.
And they rank that list when they call for certification.
So it's done
Okay,
already?
it's done already.
It's done already?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes, it's automatic. We've had that in Oakland already also. It has happened. Anybody else? Motion to close.
So moved?
All in favor? There a motion to adopt?
Mayor, can I just make a comment?
Sure.
Yes, I just want to say that we met with this as the Public Safety Committee and also the Administration Committee. And really, this was just a way to give Oakland residents the priority in joining the police department, the civil service test. I mean, nobody understands the culture and the people and what's going on in Oakland when somebody comes from the community. We thought this was really a loophole that had to really be corrected. That's all I can say. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sorry. Our attorney has arrived. Our legal advisor. Thank you. All right, so we close to the public, then we have a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Pinatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Saliani.
Yes.
Councilman Slisinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
I would have the attorney speak, but he's getting his notes all, he just walked in, so we'll go right into Rotary Park. Presentation. And we have 2 members from the Oakland Frank Lakes Rotary Club. Give your names and your addresses.
My name's Rick Leffrey. I live at 199 Long Hill Road.
And my name's Dave Stolte. I live in Mawa. Does that count?
But not far.
Well, membership goes to contiguous towns, if you're ever wondering how that happens. All right. What I'd like to do is, we don't have a PowerPoint. We're kind of old school. Dave, you want to give each, in case any of the members didn't get this
I
previously?
believe you all,
We have it.
you all
It's in our
have
packet.
the presentations.
Everybody's got it?
Does
Yes.
everybody have?
You should have it.
I told them to bring just in case.
I'll take it.
Maybe they'll take it.
I'll take it.
Everybody, have at it.
Thank you.
So, Dave's doing that. As you recall, first of all, being you've been talking so many financial things this evening, the pure devil intent of this is it doesn't cost the town a dime. All right? The Rotary Club takes care of business. Many years ago, the club donated to the town a message board that's located in what we refer to as Rotary Park. This is the old stick up the letters sign that used to carry the meeting dates and all of that kind of thing. It's been rendered obsolete by, of course, by the creation and installation of the new message board, which is electronic and all quite modern and that sort of thing. So far, we were contacted and asked, what would you like to do with it? We thought we donated it, but okay, we'll figure something out. So I went over and I stripped out the message part, which is obvious, that's not going to be used anymore. All right, so if you're referring to documents, if you go 3 pages from the back, 3 pages from last, that's the existing, is a photograph of the existing sign body. All right, and that's where we stand at the moment. All right, and what we're proposing is any of 3 options to renovate or make an adaptive reuse of that sign body. All right. Now, if you go 3rd page from the front, all right, and I'll call it, this is option 1, the larger version, and then we have 2 more possibilities. Option 1 is to take the body as it stands in the photograph, retitle it up at the top, and that would be white lettering on a black background. I'm not computer literate enough to swap the color. All right, and then in the gap in between, there would be a what we call a rotary wheel, which is a rotary graphic, and underneath that is a sign which basically gives the meeting place of the club. All right, this would be a 2-sided arrangement so that you don't wind up, whichever way you're coming down the street, you don't wind up looking at the back of something. At least it matches itself. All right. The page after that, you can see what the rotary wheel looks like and the meeting sign that I just mentioned. All right, and yes, that is my car in the background. All right, the next version is taking the scale down a bit. All right, and that means cropping the columns down to 3 feet and putting in just putting back in just the upper element of the signboard that says Oakland Franklin Lakes Rotary Park. All right. And by the way, I should point out, in all cases, the bottom of this thing happens to be an existing planter. So it'll be plantings in the bottom of this, of course. And then the last stage, which doesn't require a picture, is at the town's discretion. You want to blow it away entirely? We'll go and take it out. That simple. All right, we would only leave the planter. All right. I'm open to any suggestions, design-wise or otherwise.
Why don't you
whatever think.
describe Rotary Park? What's there?
Okay. And you don't see much of it.
Why it's
but
called Rotary Park?
Why is it called Rotary Park? On the flat in the park, there is a 40-foot diameter rotary wheel made up of bricks, all of which memorialize individuals. It was done through donations, and it memorializes various individuals in town. We did that probably 15 years ago, give or take a bit.
Longer.
Longer? It goes quicker as you get older. I can tell you. So maybe it's 20 by now. We are, in fact, setting up to, and it has plantings in the center, that kind of thing. We are not currently planning up to actually reset those bricks because it's become, like most patios do, a bit of a roller coaster in there. So we're going to be resetting those bricks. There's also a memorial stone that memorializes some past Rotarians in one space. There's a little bit of seating, and generally just a green space. We left the woods as it was, and the general orientation, it's located directly in front of the middle school on Raffle Valley Road.
With benches.
With benches. And I think that was done in the 60s based on the style of the benches.
Anybody have any questions? Comments?
Just, I mean, the only thing that I would say is if something's going to be done, I think it would be a shame not to have the rotary wheel there. I'm not sure that I'm opposed to removing it totally, but if we are going to do something, I think it should include the rotary wheel. I mean, it just makes sense to me that it is, you know, the Rotary Park. It just seems more appropriate to me than to just have the sign. You want the logo. I don't know how everyone feels about the actual structure. You know, it's a little, a little bit like lipstick on a camel. You have this.
Would you say it's a little bit large, is
Yeah.
what you're saying?
Yeah.
I understand that.
And,
Well, if we go to the 30-inch version, scale down, right? And we happen to have, I'll call them 8 to 10-inch diameter wheels that will fit inside that sign panel at the top. So we could engage a small rotary wheel inside the sign panel at the top and reduce the overall impact of the sign. That's the direction you wish to take.
that seems more appealing to me. I don't know about the rest of it.
I like that option better, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree with Councilman Talamini. I think right now that it looks out of proportion without the sign in there compared to the size of the park. Yeah, and certainly, I would certainly support the scaled down version. What I really would like to see is when you have the new bricks, are you going to have an artist rendering of what when you relay all the bricks, or is it just going to be simply remove and replace?
It's remove and replace in situ.
With plantings, I mean, we use them
Oh yeah,
flowers.
we're also redoing the plantings in the center. They got a little out of hand also.
I do like the scaled down version with the 3-foot. I think it'll look really nice, especially if you clean up the brick and repoint it. I think it'll look pretty nice.
Yes, we plan, obviously, we're going to repoint all the masonry and shape it back.
And I agree with Councilman Talamini. Certainly, the Rotary, you should certainly have your logo up there so everybody knows that it is your Rotary Park.
Yep, I agree. I also agree.
I think I have the direction,
I
if
think
you
you
folks
do.
make it official.
I think you'll go back to the Rotary Club and talk about it.
Okay.
Thank you both for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having us, and we appreciate your attention.
And thank you to Rotary for all you do for the town.
Yes.
Thank you.
We're in the work session, and the engineering services replaced generator soon as well filled. I'm told that is tabled.
Correct.
We're not ready to discuss that. EV charging station grants.
Okay, another little presentation.
And now we could all see.
Yeah, so just a little bit of background. As you know, due to the time constraints of the community project deadlines from the congressman, we did submit for an EV charging station. However, the state of New Jersey has a separate grant program that has a mid-May deadline. So we thought we would talk to you about the project overall, what sort of the vision is in terms of EV charging in the downtown, explain the grant a little bit, and make sure you're comfortable with us filing an application. So with that, you have a slide deck in front of you, and Mike's going to start taking us rather briefly through the presentation.
Yes. So the borough met and has been working with the Sustainable Oakland Green Team to develop an EV charging station project within the borough. We've spent years working on this as of today, and we feel that the best location for the charger is in the public shoppers lot, which actually is located within the new station park plan. We feel that lot is the best spot because an EV charger is really a mechanism to attract visitors to your town to stay for a short period of time and promote local business. So that's why we feel that's the best spot. You know, library, municipal plaza, sure, it would be a good spot, but we really would want to help out our businesses. So that's the spot we chose. This slide goes over some of the grant opportunities that are available to us through the state of New Jersey. There's the It Pays to Plug In grant. They fund $4,000 per charger, but those are only for level 2 chargers, which usually take upwards of 2 hours to charge your car. The grant that we're eyeing and looking to apply for is the Community Fast Charger Solicitation, which is for a DC fast charger. It would fully charge your car in about 20 minutes. So that's really why we chose that location and that charger, because it'll benefit our businesses.
Excuse me, some of us have difficulty hearing when there's noise, so please, if you could just whisper if you're going to speak. Thank you.
The following grant, the regular DC fast chargers solicitation, we're not eligible for right now. The location and Oakland as a whole are not ranked high on the state's priority list, so we can't use that grant right now. And then the EV tourism grant through the Board of Public Utilities is really meant for attraction places such as Point Pleasant, Seaside Heights, and the like. Utility companies sometimes offer what's called make-ready work, which funds all of the electrical service that's required for the charger. Our utility, Orange and Rockland, does not have a program right now. We were told sometime this year, so we're hoping, if we get a grant, it'll be available to us at the time of construction. Different examples of models, there's ChargePoint, Flow, Volta, Tesla, Electrify America. These are all like car brands, except they're chargers. Types of chargers, as I discussed, there's level 1, which are usually used in homes. Level 2, which can be used business and commercial wide, but again, it's an hour or two charging for only 12 to 60 miles per hour. And then the fast charger, 80 miles in 20 minutes. We received many quotes for this project, both for level 2 chargers and for DC fast chargers. After we met, we feel that the DC fast charger is really the best option for the borough right now and for our businesses. So we're faced with obtaining more quotes as well, but the quotes on hand right now are $88,000 and $247,000 for a DC fast charger. The higher quote is on state contract, which means we don't have to go out to public bidding. We can just procure that item right away. So those are the quote recaps. The grant covers $200,000 up front, and then any additional funds would be responsible to the borough. We're hoping to get that under the $200,000 with the quotes. Therefore, the project potentially wouldn't cost the borough anything. And again, you have a presentation in your packet about the grant program itself. It goes over potential projects and how they select the projects and the chances that we have. Believe it or not, Bergen County does not have one DC fast charger in the whole county on public land. They have them at malls and such. So we do stand a high chance because they're ranking Bergen County as the #1 priority through this program. So that's a good opportunity for us. But again, you have all the information to review, and that's it. Thank you.
Any questions?
Who pays for the electricity once it's in?
It would be the responsibility of the borough, but the costs actually are pretty minimal for electricity.
Are we gonna set up a thing where everybody who still uses a gasoline car gets it subsidized to stop and fill up something, and we spread out we're paying them for other people's to power their car?
No, so what we're thinking is, obviously, it becomes a borough asset, we own it, we pay for the electricity, but you would charge. And as far as what we would charge, we need to do a little bit more research
The
on
person
see what's out
directly.
there.
Yeah, sure.
Right, and we set up with a credit
Yeah,
card
I've
payment
heard
system.
some towns are
and-
charging.
That's the biggest thing for me.
Charging for the charging.
As long as it's not everybody paying for it.
No, no.
Good.
Michael, on the $200,000 grant, is it up to 200 and the grant's for $200,000?
The grant is for $200,000.
There's a tiered system under the grant depending on the size of your DC fast charger in terms of the kilowatt capacity of it.
And it's not a matching grant?
No.
So what does it determine the other towns that are charging for the charger? How do they base the rate? Is it even? Are they making any type of revenue?
We haven't done that research yet, but it's really based on what others are charging, because if you want to attract people to your downtown and to your site, you're not going to overcharge yourself. But you also want to make your return on investment back on that machine. We had looked at return on investment a few years ago, 3 to 4 years on a machine like this. Based on $1 or $2, but we really...
I believe that was on a level 2 at the time as well.
Yeah.
What's the time frame for what's the maintenance and the replacement schedule for something like this?
Usually these machines come with a 5-year maintenance and software program. And the borough would also have a back-end tracking system to track usage and fees collected.
So who would the borough would be responsible for? Is it DPW? Is it?
Yeah, maintenance would ultimately fall within Public Works. But it's really a point of contact. There's a maintenance, like a 5-year maintenance agreement included with the cost of the unit. So that's something I think that the manufacturer would cover. We'd have to contact them for service, but it's included.
And it takes 4 years to pay for itself, and it's only guaranteed for 5?
Useful life is 10 to 15 years.
Okay, I'm a little confused. I thought that if we get this federal grant or the state grant, that'll pay for all the infrastructure, including when you said to make ready work for Orange and Rockland, or they're part of the program. So essentially, if the charging station costs $200,000 plus to make ready work, with the $250,000, this can pay for the whole thing outright for federal dollars and from the utility, correct?
Yeah, our quotes are all-inclusive, install and make ready.
All right, so at that point, there would be no out-of-pocket cost for the borough. And once it goes in place, then the borough will be charging for the electricity that's being purchased by the person utilizing it, correct?
Yeah, I think fees and alike would be decided at a future date.
Okay, so at that point, it would be generating profit, at least covering its cost for electricity, maintenance, and everything else like that. And it possibly even generating a small profit.
Yes.
So this is not something you're going to do unless you get the grant?
Right.
Correct, we need the
There
grant.
you go.
We need the grant. So just, Councilman, we met about this yesterday, and we really did deep dive into this, and, as Ms. Corelli said, there's 2 grants we're trying to get. One is through the federal government, the other one is through NJDEP. There was the 3rd grant, which he was alluding to, which had to do with the busy corridors in New Jersey. Ironically, even though we have 287 coming right through town, New Jersey and their infinite wisdom said, hey, you can't qualify for this. I mean, it doesn't make much sense. But for the DEP grant, just so everybody knows, they are allocating, I believe it's 9 charging stations within Bergen County, but we are competing with 70 other towns. So hopefully, by getting this grant application very quickly, hopefully put us in a good position to move forward. But, I'm in support of this if it's not coming out of taxpayer dollars and we generate small profit. And also, as you alluded to the fact that you bring this in, you got people coming off the highway charging for 30 minutes, put some juice in the car, they go shopping, have a slice of pizza, and they visit our downtown.
Very good.
Go ahead.
Have we reached out to any other towns that have done something similar to see if it's viable? Was it a waste of time? Was it,
Yeah, surrounding towns include Pompton Lakes, Franklin Lakes, Glen Rock, and alike. We've also done a community survey here in Oakland and received, upwards of 100 submissions from residents on what type of car they have and what type of charger they use.
But I mean, so I think I saw some in in Wanacue or something. They had charges. Are they being used? Is what I'm saying. Are we doing this and yeah, is it worth the effort?
I think that when we're talking about the DC fast charger, there's probably a better likelihood of usage due to the faster recharge time and where we're looking to put it. I can tell you Franklin Lakes, there was a prior grant round that they took advantage of, as did other communities, for a level 2 charger, and it's in their parking lot in front of Borough Hall. I don't know the utilization. I can tell you I was over there for a meeting 2 days ago, and the spots were open. I don't know you know, how, you know, it was for 2 hours, but, you know, so this is a little bit different than what most other towns have put in.
And
under
in
any sort of
addition,
grant
just
program.
for everyone's information, as you know, I'm on the Legislative Committee of the League of Municipalities, and one of the bills that is pending that we approved and encouraged is that, as you know, you cannot park in a handicap spot without a handicap placard. You get tickets. Well, this new bill will say you cannot park in an electric spot, you know, for the electric charger, unless you're using it. You will be ticketed, so that you can't just, you see an empty spot, you want to park there, but you're not using the electric charger. That's what's going to happen.
Well, that was gonna be my next question too.
Yeah.
So now, we put these in, now we're taking away spots from non-electric vehicles. You know, it's, if they're not, that's why I wanna make sure that if they're gonna be used, fine, but if they're not gonna be used, then we're taking away parking spots.
That's a really fair point.
Glenrock is very successful. They are very pleased with it. I talked to the Glenrock mayor.
And that's, you know, it's just, look, it looks like we're moving towards electric vehicles. I don't, you know, doesn't, you know, you gotta get the batteries still. I don't see the savings, but it takes gas to make electricity. But anyway, but if it's going to be used, fine. If it's not, if we're just spinning our wheels, I don't know. You know.
Simply put, if it's going to be used, and we can make this cost neutral or you know, with a grant, I think it's.
What Councilman Kamal is saying is it's not going to cost us anything,
Yeah,
sure.
sure.
Councilman Talamini made some fair points. Another thing that I have to think about when it comes to this, is this a business, I need to learn more about it, but is this something that we would be taking away from private landowners, businesses, or landowners in town who maybe would want to install these, and it would be revenue for them to have them, like an ATM machine could be in your lobby, right? Is this something that we're then taking away from, I don't know, maybe the Elks Lodge would put one in, and would help, the American Legion puts one in, and rather let them do it than the town?
I have a feeling this is the new thing. I mean, they're encouraging electric cars. I don't have an electric car. I don't
Wouldn't
know
you
what
rather
it's
have
like
one in
to-
Copper Tree Plaza if they would? Why wouldn't a private business owner have it and be able to, and if you could charge for the charge, let them do it instead of having, you know, being the town to have the one to do that? That's another thing we have to look after and maintain and deal with, and it's more paperwork for Michael and Rich.
When's the grant due?
Well, if I can, and I don't know that the two are mutually exclusive, right? You know, and I think that the trend is towards more electric, not that I'm 100% sold on either, but, you know, the projections are that way. You hear of manufacturers saying, hey, we're going all electric by X year. There are certainly, you know, shopping malls that have them, that have put them in because they think that it's going to attract business, that there's a business case to be made for it. There's a company out there, Volta, which we've mentioned on a previous slide. Their business model is to sell ad space on their charging stations, right? So they want to see areas that have a whole lot of foot traffic to make that work for them. We actually had met with them. They declined to put one in the shopper's lot, but said that they were going to take a look at Copper Tree Mall and see if there was a business case to be made for that. The other thing I want to mention is something that you're going to be seeing at the next council meeting. The state had adopted a statewide EV ordinance. So it's kind of in effect already, but towns also should be adopting it as well. And that mandates EV charging stations on certain new developments based on, I forget, either the square footage or the number of parking spaces and the like. And I believe that there's one development in the industrial park that's going to be having them. There may be a development coming in the downtown where they may be required. That's something that will be looked at. So you'll be seeing that coming forth at the next meeting. And the state's kind of set the stage for new development to incorporate EV charging infrastructure in those developments.
I just want to piggyback on what you said. There is a building that came in front of the planning board last year going up to Industrial Park, and they are required to put in a level 2 charger already up there. But I mean, I just want to go back to the fact that this is a rapid charger. And there isn't, listen, let's face it, the federal government's gonna give you the money. They're trying to jumpstart this business. I mean, let's face it, EV is here. It's not like let's get ahead of the curve on this. And it also certainly opens the door for the borough. Should the borough buy electric vehicles, now right away, we've got a charging station, a fast charging station for so many routine vehicles that we can use. And now we're ahead of the game, we don't even have to worry about it. I mean, my position is, if we get the grant, they take it, put it in, let's see where it goes. And clearly, and I agree with Councilman Vac, there is certainly competition. We're not here to be in competition, we're just here to kind of skid the grease, am I trying to say? Grease the skids. Thank you.
Michael, that was excellent.
Thank you.
And we have a lot of work to do on this. Thank you. Before the girls come in,
Mayor, so what we're going to do is, because the grant's due May 13th, we'll have a resolution on to authorize the grant submittal at the next council meeting.
all right, Brian, our attorney, before the girls come in, I promised Ms. King that you would give a report.
Yeah, just so if I could have the question so I answer it correctly. Ms. King, I apologize, I wasn't here earlier. I believe there was a question. I just want to make sure I can give you the right
About
answer.
the investigation, which was happened at your law firm.
Yeah, what were the results?
Do I need to repeat my disclaimer? I'm
No,
here as a resident,
no,
not as
just
a
get
board
to
vet
the-
member.
We got your whole disclaimer ready, yes.
The issue again, I came here two meetings ago. The issue again, Mr. Rose, after making a derogatory statement towards me, an investigation finding that he was out of line and committed wrongdoing, and he is still sitting on the planning board, zoning board, and I have seen no remediation whatsoever, no consequences to his actions, and received no apology. As well as Mr. Rose has made donations to some of the board members who are sitting on the dais, and I'm wondering if that had an impact on the fact that the borough has done nothing.
Well, there's a lot to that one question. Yes, the investigation was conducted. There was a thorough investigation conducted. Numerous people were interviewed. As a result of that investigation, there were various findings that related to claims against you and claims that made against
There was
Mr.
no
Rose.
finding against me, and there was only, in the letter, it stated that
But it-
Mr. Rose was found to be wrong.
And if you let me finish, that is absolutely correct. And as a result, since these are personnel investigations, there was appropriate action taken. That action was taken. There was appropriate measures undertaken by Mr. Rose, and he satisfied those conditions. And that's all that I can tell
And
you.
myself as the victim have no right to know what those measures were. I still must sit across from this man who basically accosted me verbally. And I can only intimate that it is because his monetary donations have satisfied what the borough has seen as fit.
Well, I don't...
And the public can see all of those donations on the Occ Report.
And that's up for the public to
That's fine.
decide, but I can
They can
certainly
decide in the
tell
next
you is
election.
that, as you are aware, the investigation was quite thorough and time-consuming.
Very aware, I'm
And-
surprised that, which is why I'm so surprised that the borough
And-
has done nothing and allowed this man to continue to sit on boards.
And I will...
Excuse me,
and I
just
will-
out of courtesy, could you
and-
just keep it
And I will
down?
also say, as I indicated, I believe, about a month ago, we had a similar...
That's fine, I can keep coming to every meeting and reminding the public that you allow a man who used such vulgar language, misogynistic tendencies to another board member, that you continue to allow him to sit on those boards. I'll come back to every meeting and remind the public.
And that's certainly
fine.
you're right, but I
Okay.
could only tell you that the investigation was conducted in accordance with law and the borough policy.
That's fine, but there are no consequences to his actions.
Well, that is your opinion.
I'm sorry, but everyone keeps talking.
It's like kids.
But
It's not the kids.
Point of order.
But
She
the
can't
mayor
talk
asked
to
me
us.
to
All
respond,
right,
and
everybody
that's
stop
the,
cannot
talking.
speak to us.
and that's the
Please.
extent of
I'll go
response
see.
I can give you.
What the status
Thank
of the
you.
children are.
We're waiting for a couple more.
We're waiting for a few.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes.
Waiting
Yeah.
for what children? Oh,
Mike's got an eye.
oh, okay. All right, well then we'll start, while we're waiting, we'll start with new business. We'll start, anybody have new business?
Are you not talking about the parking?
You had Truman.
Oh, that was an important one I wanted to talk about. Okay. I received many, many emails, many phone calls. People stopped in my law office to talk to me. These were all residents who live on Truman and Roosevelt Boulevard. So I made inquiries with the police chief and with our traffic officer, Brian Rowan, along with Mr. Kunz. I kept calling him every time I got another call. So what happened was, on the books, for many, many, many years, there was no parking on Truman. Is it Truman, one side of Truman or both sides of Truman? Especially where it curves around. And then, but when Truman curves off and it becomes Roosevelt, it was on the books. No, everybody ignored, the signs were knocked down at some point, and no one ever even thought about it. It's because of a couple of residents complained. They're all of a sudden triggered, oh, let's look at what's going on the books, our ordinance. And sure enough, in the books, it was determined there's no parking. So unfortunately, the police with DPW erected signs where it was on the books without notifying residents, and I said, you can't do that to people. If you're going to do something so drastic, that, especially if you bought your house way after all these signs were knocked down, you have to notify the residents. And when did they do it? Right before the Easter and Passover holiday weekend. And so people were having company, they had no place to park, there were the no parking signs. I said I would bring this up with the council, what everybody wants to do about Roosevelt and Truman. I was going to call a meeting with Brian Rowan and with the police chief, and they said, Linda, it's on the books, it's an ordinance on the books. I'm asking all the council people, if you don't go there, I don't think anybody on this council lives up there, please drive back and forth on Truman and Roosevelt. And then we can have a very serious meeting with our police chief, with our traffic officer, and talk about the parking situation on Truman. I know it's a dangerous curve, but for many years there were no signs. And then all of the signs went up, and I repeat, it's because residents complained. If the residents didn't complain, it would have been ignored and no one would realize that it was on the books of no parking. So I'm asking all the council people to drive on Truman and Roosevelt, different times of the day, different days of the week, get a feel of the road, because unless you live there, you probably don't regularly drive there. And come up with, so we can have an educational, a real discussion, a knowledgeable discussion, because you know the street, you understand the street, and that's what I'm asking from this council.
Mayor?
So does anyone want to make a comment?
I
Yes.
would like to, now first of all, being chair of public safety, it would have been nice if you contacted somebody in the public safety committee about this. And now that we know that there's an issue, we will take it into the public safety committee and take a look at it and come back with a recommendation for the
Fine.
council.
Good. Anybody else
Thank
have any comments?
I was approached by a few residents, and I reached out to Rich to go through, so thank you for helping me.
Yes, so please, just
I've driven a few times, I've met with the residents.
Yes, you understand
I
driving
understand.
back there. Like I said, if you don't live back there, or you're not visiting someone, you're not going to go over Lenape Lane and drive Truman Boulevard. And it's important to remember this, because at some point, when Patriots Way Bridge is being redone, that's going to be used. So please, everybody drive by, and then we'll call a meeting with the police chief and the public and the traffic officer. Now, new business.
Can I
Yeah, sure.
ask about the, so this has happened a couple times with we're putting up new no parking signs where we've had the ordinance, and it's just.
We didn't know about it.
We didn't know about it. Is somebody going through the books and looking at this, or is this just, somebody complains and then we say, oh, look at that, we have an ordinance?
That's what I was told from the police. They got a
In
complaint.
this case, from what I understand, it was based on complaints in an accident, a sideswipe accident in 2020 as well, that, led them to realize, that, okay, there's signs that people are maybe parking there because the requisite signs aren't up. So they put the signs back up. They've been issuing warnings. I think there was only one vehicle that received a ticket so far. I think everybody else was just getting warnings to not park there.
And so, can we ask the traffic officer to maybe look at our, or, I mean, like, I don't know how difficult that is to look up traffic, no parking ordinances, but,
Well, I think Brian is becoming more and more familiar with it. And it's a matter of driving around and looking at the signs, seeing what's there, seeing what isn't there, kind of doing an audit of.
yeah, I think it would be, important to do an audit. I mean, because for this to just keep happening, I don't, doesn't make sense.
We have to know, and that happened also in Raffle River Reserve, an issue that was similar years
So-
ago. Before they put up a sign,
Right.
tell us and notify the residents. Common courtesy, especially right before a holiday weekend.
Well, they actually started issuing written warnings well before the holidays.
I'm sure.
Back in the fall of last year.
But they didn't have the signs up.
No, they put up signs, they started issuing warnings, they issued.
Nobody
warnings
noticed the
again.
signs.
Right,
until they
but
got the
then,
ticket.
all it took were a few
March.
residents on Truman to call.
Yeah.
That's what did it, that's what triggered it. All right, any new business before the girls come in? We're still waiting for some girls?
I just have
Sure.
a new business, well, maybe old business, but I had brought it up
Some
to
business.
Mr. Coons about garbage collection. The garbage collection continues to go up astronomically, and we continue to only receive one bid on our garbage collection. And I had mentioned after a meeting that an administration meeting, I had mentioned to you about maybe if we were to bring it in-house and collect it ourselves, because if it's going to go up $300,000 every year, eventually it's going to be cost effective for us to do it.
Right.
Can you just give us an idea? Have you reached out to
Glen Rock has their
other
own.
towns or?
I'll answer that. Glen Rock has their own. I've talked to the mayor. They're now looking at possibly doing a hybrid
Right.
because of what it costs them in-house and employees and salaries, et cetera. But please, if you can get other towns in the group.
Yeah, this is something we do talk about a lot with my colleagues right now because of the bidding environment out there and the cost increases that haulers are facing. You'll have a lot of towns tell you that they do it in-house, they're unhappy with that. It's something that seems like the grass is always greener due to the operational issues that are inherent with that. We've looked at it in the past. It didn't make sense financially in the past. That may have changed. There are also a lot of logistical issues that are involved, and Councilman, as I'd indicated to you, even right now, if we made a decision tonight to bring it in-house, you're looking at probably a good 2 years in ramping up a program, buying the equipment and everything to get into a position to do that. There's a very long lead time, especially when garbage trucks, are subject to the same supply chain issues that everything else seems to be right now. It is something that I've been talking about with my colleagues in Franklin Lakes and Wyckoff. They're also going to be going back out to bid. There are a couple of different options that I think we'll be talking about more that may or may not have a benefit to us, but we're trying to search for solutions.
We met with Franklin Lakes and Wyckoff, the flow area.
Years ago.
We've written letters. The Northwest Mayors Group has written letters and have called our legislators. The Bergen County League of Municipalities have written letters and called the legislators. We've had them speak to us, and there's something about garbage pickup
Yeah,
that is,
just to me, the increases are so much that eventually it's going to make sense for us to do it ourselves. And you say there's workman comp and all that stuff, but they just have us,
Yes, you're right. You don't have to say it. We all know what you're saying.
And so we really need to just keep looking into this.
Well, our
and find a
CFO
solution.
is here. He should do a cost analysis. Column A, column B.
Can I, Mayor?
Yes.
Can I just jump in here? We had this conversation at the administration meeting, and our CFO has a whole entire breakdown going back to, he's just sent it to me today. What I'll do is I'll forward it to the entire council. The reason I asked him to do this was so that I have some ammunition that I can work with our assembly people and really explain the situation that's taking place at the state level, because really the biggest issue here is nobody's bidding on this. There's one company that's bidding on this. So I mean.
By region.
By region, so I mean, there's no, Wyckoff only gets one bid, Franklin Lakes gets one bid, we get one bid. So they're part of the Judiciary Committee, so I asked the CFO, Mr. Coons, to put this together. We're gonna send it to them, we're gonna send it to the state.
Just remember, communication among your colleagues here works both ways. Just remember that.
Mayor, you went to the meeting with us.
I'm just talking to you. I said communication works both ways. Are the girls ready?
Not yet.
All right, so any other new business? Old business. You have old business. Go ahead, before the girls come.
Old business. I would ask if we could look into passing another resolution, sending a letter to Optimum. It's like an annual thing now, but I think it's important. It happens right around this time of year every year. We've had examples from the past that we've sent, asking them to upgrade us, Channel 77, Oakland TV, to high definition, which is industry standard. At a minimum, 720p. We got the upgrade from Verizon almost 2 years ago now when we asked to do this. It's much better for anyone who has Verizon. You can tell the difference. Go look at it in Optimum 77 or Altice now. It is like unreadable, the bulletin board. It just doesn't look good. We upgraded all these cameras and all this equipment in the control room. So I'm asking if at the next agenda, we could have a resolution prepared requesting Altice Optimum,
And as
which
I
is right here in
told-
Oakland, to give us that industry standard that I believe is appropriate
And
for
as
our
I told you,
public TV.
since I moved my law office, Optimum is in my office every single day when it goes out in the morning and my internet goes out in the afternoon. And I can't get FiOS because there's no FiOS over there. So believe me, I am in constant contact with Optimum, and that will be an issue because I see them all the time. I'm in my office every day. So yes, I appreciate that. Thank you. Well, we're going to stop our business because we have some special guests. We have the third grade girls basketball team, and we have something special for them. And it's called Lady Braves Basketball. So, Councilman.
Congratulations, champs. What we're going to do is we're going to call your name, and then please come on up, and you could stay up here, then we'll take a big group photo. After the group photo, start down on this end, you could shake everybody's hand. They'll all want to say congratulations. You've honored Oakland. You've made us so proud as a community, and want to thank the parents and the coaches and everybody for what you did.
And as I say to whenever there's a group of children, and as I said to the wrestling team parents, thank you to the parents. Because without you carpooling, working hard, giving up your time, helping the girls, they couldn't be here tonight, and especially to the coaches for giving up your effort and your time. And you have the coaches.
Yeah, but little explanation too, just from, this is a note I received, that the Lady Braves were crowned champions Northwest Bergen Passaic Basketball League after a 17-2 win versus Ramsey on March 16th. The win capped an undefeated record, undefeated, right? Cheers for them. 16-0, and the Lady Braves ended with a 20-game win streak to finish the season at 22-1 overall. This is just continuing the notes. Tremendous team effort all around, most notably on defense, where opposing teams average 6 points a game. Defensive highlights included a shutout versus Ramsey on February 17th, and a 3-game stretch versus Midland Park on 2/27, Wyckoff on 3-1, and Ramsey on 3-6, where each opposing team scored 1 point total for the game. Another round of applause for that. Offensively, the Lady Braves averaged 20 points a game and outscored their opponents by 459 to 138 margin. Wow. Basketball fans, that is really impressive. Wow. Wow, I wish the Nets could be that good. Anyway, included for 30-point plus games versus Mawa on 1-8, and Highlands on 123, Highlands on 130, and Mawa on 2-6. 4 Lady Braves were honored as Northwest Bergen Players of the Week during the season. Danica O'Shaughnessy earning 2 such honors, Emma Perlaza and Olivia Coppola, and Aubrey Kennedy winning 1. so many hours of practice led to all that. So that's all the grit and determination that you did. You truly honored our entire community. Coach Matt Coppola.
We get to the end anyway.
Congratulations. Thank you. Coach Jude Cancelleri.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations. Coach Mark Reed.
Mark is, we're here on Mark's behalf.
Coach Sean Kennedy.
Also here on Sean's behalf.
Oh, I got it. Coach Tim Curtin.
Also here on Tim's behalf.
Amanda Beck.
My son.
All right, Amanda. Congratulations. Angelina Malazia. Congratulations, Angelina. For you.
Congratulations.
Aubrey Kennedy. Sydney Reed. Emma Perlaza. Congratulations. Danica O'Shaughnessy.
I'll take that.
Haley Bozak. Kayla Dinero. Milana Mayer Costa. Mia Cancelleri. Olivia Coppola. All right, last but not least, Taylin Curtin.
I guess she's with her dad.
Yes,
All right.
yes, exactly.
What an accomplishment. Okay, hip hip parade. Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hip hip. All right, let's all come to the center and we're going to take a nice group photo.
Oh, make sure they, turn that way for the picture so they see your shirts that you're league champion. Come on, coaches. Come on, coaches.
All right, coaches, come on in. Everybody get together.
Are you all here? Do you have everybody of the coaches? They're the most important.
So everybody hold up your certificates towards the cameras and do me a favor, the gentleman in the blue coat right there, the handsome guy, everybody look at him and smile. Cheese. Thank you.
Congratulations.
All right, way to go. Champions for life. Always look back on this with a smile, good memories. You've honored our entire community. Coaches, you have anything you'd like to say?
Just obviously very proud of the girls for the season that they played. They worked very hard, and it certainly showed they had a lot of determination. And again, a big thank you to the parents because there was a lot of practice throughout that. So thank you. And thank you to the council for this recognition.
There you go. If you want, start down there, and then we'll all make
Come on,
it.
ladies. Come on, ladies. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations. Good. Thank you. Great job. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you.
And I get to congratulate you again.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Way to go.
Good job. Good job. Good job.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Way to go. Congratulations. Way to go. Great job. All right, congratulations. Hey, thanks for being here.
Last minute call. Another photo opportunity.
Should we do one more? Let's go. You're only once, right? Let's do it.
Here, Dan. Thank you.
Yes. Who's the one that just came?
Danica O'Shaughnessy. Here, Danny.
Now?
Okay.
Put that on.
Congratulations, Danica O'Shaughnessy. All right.
Put it on.
You got it?
Okay, Danica, there's your, everybody face this way, hold up your certificates, big smiles. if you do want to have access to the video, we are on YouTube. Just go to Oakland TV on YouTube, and you can get the stream of this will be live later tonight. All right?
Ladies.
We know. I have it on TV.
All right, council committee reports, we're gonna start this tonight. Councilman Saliani, we're starting with you.
Oh, thank you. So, first of all, quick shade tree. Mayor, you hit it in your beginning. So for shade tree, congratulations, Ed, and shade tree commission getting the ordinance passed. It took 2 years. Also, tomorrow night, Arbor Day event at Senior Center. Please go get your free saplings. DPW.
And plant them, right?
Yeah, and plant them, yes. And the DPW report is very light tonight. Just a reminder about the shredding day on May 14th. And that's really all I had time for.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you, Mayor. Giving out trees.
Yes.
You said that I was giving out saplings.
Yeah, saplings tomorrow night at Shade Tree, yes.
So that's water and sewer updates for tonight. The decommissioning of the 3 sanitary sewer treatment plants. The contractor continues to forward construction submittals to Boswell for comments and approval. Local materials storage yard is being established. Materials will be ordered as submittals are approved. Some materials have long lead times. With the Skyview Highbrook sanitary sewer lining, yard restoration work is all that remains and is scheduled to be completed by the end of this month. Boswell is going to meet with the property owner next week. Iroquois pump station upgrades. The contractor is submitting documents for review and acceptance by Boswell. Materials are being ordered and some will take several months for delivery. Some work at the site may begin in the upcoming weeks. PFAS compounds treatment at the 3 water production wells. During the preparation of application documents to the NJDEP, the Borough and Boswell was able to develop a more efficient redesign of the systems at well number 5, requiring revisions to the plans. Boswell is revising the permit application documents. The backup generator at the Soons Field pumping station. Boswell is responding to comments from the borough administrator on our design and inspection proposal. Water update from the DPW. Fire hydrant flushing and water distribution system leak detection reminder. Water department employees are currently out flushing and pressure testing all the borough-owned fire hydrants within our municipality. During this time, these same water department employees will also be checking our borough's entire water distribution system for leaks. Employees can be identified by their vehicles with DPW logos and by their Borough of Oakland ID badges. For the library update, I just have a quick one. There's nothing really new this meeting. Just been asked to remind everyone of the Museum Pass program and the Library of Things.
Thank you. Councilman?
Yes, just under schools, just in case anybody is wondering, I will be recusing myself from the budget process. My wife Lucy is employed by the Oakland Board of Education, so I will not be a part of that process. And then also under schools, as the mayor had mentioned, we've lost a longtime school board member, Jim Gaffney. He was one of my closest friends and a great leader. He taught me so much about being an elected official, but more importantly, how to be a better father, husband, and friend. He will be greatly missed on the Board of Education, but because of his leadership, they will be able to move on without missing a step. I'd just like to say thank you to Michelle, his wife, and his 5 great children for sharing Jim with us all these years. He left us much too soon, and I will miss him greatly. Thank you. That's
Thank
it.
you.
Councilman?
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few updates from the Senior Citizens Center today. After great feedback from our memoir writing program in April,
we are hosting a Part 2 on Monday, May 9th at 1 p.m. New attendees are welcome, however, space is limited. The Senior Center will be closed on Tuesday, May 10th for the installation of our new AV system. And the seniors are hosting a home organizing workshop on Thursday, May 19th at 1 p.m. Again, I'd like to remind everyone that the Hazardous Waste Collection Day is May the 14th from 9 to 3 at Camp Goa. This is a perfect opportunity to get rid of old gas, old pesticides, herbicides, anything that's poisonous. Fluorescent bulbs they take also, and it's from 9 to 3. I would advise you to get there shortly after 8 o'clock because the line does get long. I just want to let everyone know, from time to time we caution everyone about scams. Well, it hit at my house. I got a text message, an email from someone I know, and they said, Pat, I'm out of town. I'd appreciate a big favor. Please help me. He didn't tell me what it was, so I just wrote back and I said, sure, I'd be happy to help you. And 2 days later, they said, oh, Pat, I'm out of town. I think he said he's in Europe, and I'd like you to go get several gift cards for a cancer patient that I know. Obviously, it was a scam because I know the man, and I saw him the next day, and he said, Pat, someone hacked into my computer and stole all my email addresses. So if someone writes you and asks you to go get gift cards, believe me, 99.9% of the time it's a scam. And if you know them, just call them up and say, hey, Bob, hey, Sally, I got a text message from you. Was it really you? And, did you really need my help? Because a friend of mine, another friend of mine, got hooked for $1,000. They, out of the goodness of their heart, they wanted to give gift cards to cancer patients, and it was a scam. They took the $1,000 and ran with it. So be careful.
It's very important, thank you.
Yeah, what they say is, if it sounds too good to be true, it's too good to be true. That's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman?
Thank you, Mayor. It's going to be a pretty extensive report. I'm going to start with the police department first. I just want to read this so everybody understands. The Oakland Police Department has recently acquired an Humvee. I'm sure you've seen it in the back, in the front of the building over here. That came out of a LISO program. Law Enforcement Surplus 123 program, and what they're doing now is they're going to be painting it's going to be painted, it's operational right now, and it's going to be utilized by the police for doing high water rescues in the event that we have a flood. So that came out of a LISO program from the federal government surplus, which is now a borough asset. As of Monday, April 25th, the Oakland Police Department have started to wear body-worn cameras. The cameras will be worn by patrol officers during their shifts and worn by other members of the police department in accordance with the law. The New Jersey Attorney General's directive guidance provided by the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office and the Oakland Department's policy that covers the use of body-worn cameras. The body-worn cameras are required for all New Jersey law enforcement agencies and will be in addition to the in-car cameras that have been utilized by the Oakland Police Department for over a decade. The goals and objectives in deploying the body-worn cameras are for accurate documentation of interactions between the public, arrests, and other critical incidents. Also, the reporting from the Patrol Division for the month of March, the officers have conducted 291 motor vehicle stops and issued 256 motor vehicle summonses. Officers also made 2 arrests for driving while intoxicated in the borough of Oakland. The police department received a complaint by the Traffic Bureau for speeding on Rutgers Drive. It's a 25-mile-per-hour zone. What they did is they did a speed study from March 15th to the 31st, and the results reveal minimal speeding on the roadway, and they will continue to be monitored in the future. Also, some of the training that's taken place with the police department, Officer Edward McDermott, Oakland Police Department, has just satisfactorily completed a verbal judo tactical communications class. Officer Stephen Albert just completed firearms instructor course. Chief Keith Zanzeri satisfactorily completed resiliency training. And also Officer Ed McDermott also just completed resiliency training. Moving on to OEM. OEM is going to be having a cleanup on Skyline Drive on May 14th with the entire OEM organization. They're also updating their emergency operations plan, which is going to be due in November of this year. Moving on to the green team. The green team, as you know, there was a request for bags. They are going to be printing up 1,000 bags, and it includes artwork from all 4 schools. So that's Dogwood, Manitou Heights, Valley, and also Indian Hills, which is going to be part of the artwork on one side of the bag. There's also, remember last year they had the Arts in Oakland, where they had the bands down in Veterans Park and all kinds of artists. That's going to be taking place June 10th through the 12th. On Saturday the 11th, there will be food trucks. Currently they have got a seafood truck, Conrad's Confections, an ice cream truck, and a cheesesteak truck. More to follow on that. And that's all part of the overarching Creative Bergen. Right now, when they're doing the Arts in Oakland as part of the Creative Bergen, right now they have a 3rd more acts than they did last year. So this is really something that's taking off, and it's nice to see that Oakland's on the ground floor of this. Another announcement for all the people that are into birding, or we're curious about bird watching, there will be a bird watching walkthrough. It's going to be done by Rick Wyman at the Great Oak Park for spring bird walk watching. We'll be looking for resident birds that nest in the park, and hopefully some that have recently arrived, colorful migrants like warblers, orioles, and others. The trip is for all kinds of skill levels of birding. Beginners are welcome. Bring binoculars, water, wear boots, as some trails may be muddy, and photographers are certainly welcome to bring their cameras. Also the community garden. There was a cleanup that took place down there this past Saturday. They put fabric down for weed control, and right now people are coming down getting their beds ready. They also want to make an announcement for the access for all people, which I see here. Okay. The green team would like to share one of the ADA beds with you for either teaching or working together, and they'd like to be in a partnership with the Access for All community with the one bed. So just reach out to Allie Fleeson, and she'll be able to make those arrangements with you. And one more piece of news, there's going to be the Green Team Film Festival on June 4th in the evening, and the movie's going to be Happy Feet. So bring your children, and it's going to be taking place on a big screen down at Veterans Park right by the library. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
And now, Councilman.
Okay, recreation. Summer camp signups begin on May 1st and run until June 10th. Anyone who registers during these 6 weeks is guaranteed a spot. There are no late signups, so find the time in that period of time, get in there, register if there is no late signups. All of our summer sports camps, which are run by the coaches, are the high school coaches are presently holding their signups. Football, soccer, and cheer are holding signups, and all of this is found at oaklandrec.org. That's oaklandrec.org. The commission has now made the tennis court schedule to everyone, so you may not know what's scheduled, so just go and see what the court is open. It's oaklandtenniscourts.com. Oakland Tennis Courts, spelled exactly like that, .com, and you can check out the schedule there. I know we've already mentioned 3 coaches. Commissioner Guadagnino asked me to offer the condolences to the family, Jim Gaffney, Gary Gerisi, and Shirley Dooley, all longtime coaches involved with rec, and very sad to have lost the 3 of them. Next, our OCC report. The newsletter committee is still looking for volunteers. I mention this all the time. We really need someone to help the 2 individuals who are there now, interviewer, writer, telling stories, whatever it may be. But if you're interested in joining, OCC at oakland-nj.org. The Welcome website and social media committee is holding their first meeting tomorrow evening, which is exciting. This is a new thing. I'm very happy about this. They're going to brainstorm some ideas, divvy up tasks and roles, and work on improving our borough's social media presence, which has improved, I believe, and we still have a lot of progress to go, but it's gotten a lot better. And starting to work on the welcome packet for new residents in Oakland, which is a very important thing to do. It's something that we used to do, and we're bringing back, which is a wonderful thing to have. Oakland TV Committee wants to remind all residents that you can view TV 24/7 from your cell phone, tablet, computer, Roku, Fire Stick, Android TV, Apple TV device through the free local BTV app. It's something that is just another great accomplishment of this committee. You can keep in touch with all things Oakland. Volunteers are working on the history program, and the committee continues to broadcast the Arapahoe Indian Hills Board of Education meetings and I know they're working with the K-12, the K-8 Board of Education here in Oakland, the Oakland Board of Ed, on trying to get those meetings streamed as well. And I believe there's a meeting happening next week about that. But there's already been 2 meetings, and they're continuing that process. So you could always stream the high school Board of Education meetings 4:30 a.m. and weekdays at noon on the Oakland TV channel. The bulletin board wants to know about Oakland events. So if you have anything going on, we heard a lot about just from Councilman Kamala, those events should all get onto the bulletin board and send that in so we can make the information available on that webpage. Chairman Schwartzfeger wants to continue to thank everyone who has expressed interest in volunteering on various commissions and committee assignments. And congratulations to Bill Sisti from Chairman Schwartzfeger, who was appointed at the last meeting to serve. Bill's usually in the control booth. I haven't been back there today. I don't know if he's waving at me.
He is, I saw him.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Welcome, welcome to the commission. The next meeting is Monday, May 2nd at 7:30. It will be held in person at the council chambers. The Flood Commission, I gave a really long report last time, and there isn't a meeting till next month, so I'm going to skip that one. And then I have the Finance Committee. We talked a lot about the budget, but just the 2021 LoSAP contributions will be posted to accounts in May. The American Recovery Plan Act submissions to federal government and state for the first quarter have been completed, and the state has completed their budget review and approved for us to budget, which we adopt tonight. Those were the only updates I had from finance. Lastly, it's sad to have to say this, but I am going to be leaving the town. I have bought a home in another town, and I'll be closing on the house on Friday, and we'll be leaving Oakland. So it's been very emotional for me, as I mentioned this, I believe, when I was sworn in. It was my lifelong dream from when I was a little kid. People say, "Oh, I want to be a fireman. I want to be I want to be a police officer." I was that kid in class that said, "Ooh, I want to be a mayor. I want to be an elected official." I've always wanted to be involved in public service, and I first got to do it here in Oakland, serving with this council, serving this community and all its residents. And it has been one of the greatest experiences of my life. I started my family here. We moved to this town. I got married. 2 days after we were married, we closed on our house here in Oakland. Went on our honeymoon. Gave my dad the keys, went on our honeymoon, and didn't go into the house after we got back from Hawaii. So that was just such a fond memories of that. I had my first 2 children in this town. I campaigned with my daughter Felicity, strapped a little papoose on my chest and went door to door asking for votes. And it was just one of the greatest journeys and experiences. I've learned so much from so many people. And I think with passion and intellect, anyone can step up into this role. And that's what I set out to do when I ran. And you take that and you use your virtues and your principles as a North Star and don't compromise them, you can accomplish amazing things. And you accomplish those amazing things with other people. And that has been the absolute most rewarding thing about this job, is the friendships and relationships that I've been able to form with so many people, such a diverse group of people and shared experiences. That has been the best thing about serving in this role. I want to thank all the commissioners that I got to serve with. I've been a liaison, not to everything here in town, but Rec, Mike Guadagnino, Dr. Guadagnino. I can imagine us being friends for life. And getting chills, but it's just been a pleasure getting to know you, learning from you, being coached by you, pun intended, because it's direct. But seriously, it's a pleasure working together. One of the things I'm most proud of when people ask me about what it was like serving as a councilman was doing recreation and keeping all the sports and camps open during COVID. And I could always look back on that fondly. So thank you for all your collaboration and what you've done.
Thank you, Grant.
You're an amazing guy. Chairman Schwartzfeger over there in the booth, I think he's missed like 1, maybe 2 meetings in I don't know how many years. It's been a pleasure serving with you. I consider you a close friend as well. I know we're going to stay in touch and continue to work together. Every goal that we set out, Ryan and I, when we sat down when I first was elected, we have accomplished or are on the precipice of accomplishing every single objective we had. And that is something special. and it's truly rewarding and fulfilling because all of that is for the betterment of the Oakland residents. Peter Keycott at the Shade Tree Commission. Ed, you're here tonight working with you guys and Nancy and everybody. You gave me a challenge and it got done today. That's incredible. And just how much I learned from each one of you about the engineering of trees and so much more has been fantastic. As an Eagle Scout, it's something I've always been passionate about and growing up with it, but having the experience from such seasoned, accomplished professionals with such a depth and wealth of experience has been a fantastic experience. So thank you for all you guys did. I believe we're going to keep in touch. I know I'm going to call Ed for some help at my new home. So thank you for that. Chairman Levy, Lou Levy, we definitely started off rough, the two of us, when he was serving on the council, but we've come a long way, and it's been great. In my short time in the Flood Commission, we've done a lot. We've been able to accomplish a lot, and it's been very interesting, and I tell you, Lou always makes me laugh. Guy could have been a stand-up comic. He is a really funny guy, and we've come a long way, and I appreciate Lou for all you do for the town, and for us, having the maturity for us to overcome things and really come together and have a positive relationship. Access for all. Some of you are here tonight. Now, Jody, thank you for stepping up to be chair and for getting this committee formed. It's been great. It's way too short, but with such intelligent, professional people like yourselves, it's going to be a great thing for so many people in this town, and it's been really a lot of fun. I want to thank all the professionals down at Borough Hall. Rich, great Yankee fan. So outside of council, we always talk Yankees, and we've always been able to stay in touch. And David, we're both from hometown, and a lot in common. It's been great working with you too, and Mayor and the whole council. When we get along or don't get along, I think we've all had a great experience working together, and it's been a pleasure serving with all of you and serving the people of Oakland. So I probably went on too long, but this is really hard for me to do. It is bittersweet. I do not want this to end, but I had to find a new place for my growing family. My wife's due with twins next month. She's due May 21st with identical twin boys. So we needed a bigger space. We grew out of our starter home. Something is in the water, and it's not the PFOAs. So glad we passed that resolution tonight. Thank you all for giving me the honor of serving this amazing, beautiful community. I hope what I've been able to give and working with all of you has made this town a better place to raise a family, to live, to work, and I hope all those things will continue on. Thank you all. God bless you.
Councilman Benek did not see eye to eye in the beginning. We're from different political parties, and we talked about our differences in our philosophy, but we've always talked.
Yeah.
We've always managed to work together, and one time you said we agree more than we disagree.
It's true.
And I thank you for what you have done for our town. Working together with you has been such a pleasure. He's even joined me at meetings. He was interested. And my passion of getting a council person to finally do Access for All. He came forward, he says, I'll do it. I can't thank you enough. I hope that the group continues without the leadership of Councilman Benek. I hope another councilman will step forward and continue to be the liaison with the council. But until such time, I will be there for you. Call me. I will work with you. I will do whatever it takes because this is such an important group. And I'm so excited that it finally got going. And I can't thank Grant enough because he's the one who stepped forward with this. Thank you so much.
Mayor, I forgot one more thing. It was my first year, it was planning board, and Tom Potash and all the planning board members. I loved working with that group.
You were valuable on that.
One of the greatest learning experiences. Again, breweries, distilleries, a lot of the things that I was able to bring forward and we passed by the council all started from that first year with the planning board. That was a lot of fun too, so thank you, Tom. It's been great getting to know you and working with you as well.
It was such a great year when you were on the planning board.
Yes, it was.
I was hoping you'd come back. I mean, like I said, we had differences, but then we always worked together on them. It was an incredible experience working with you, and we said we're both going to keep in touch, and I'm not gonna be far away from him, and he's not gonna be far away from me, but I couldn't let you leave without this.
Oh.
I had a certificate written up for you.
Oh, thank you.
Because I thought that was important. You did so much for us in your short time here. You really have
It's my
accomplished-
passion, and everything I've done has been from my heart.
So, Grant Van Eck, a community has no greater riches than the dedicated service of its people. The Borough of Oakland would like to recognize you for your service as councilman for the term January 2020 through April 2022. The borough has been very fortunate to have your leadership and expertise while working as liaison with Land Use, Recreation Commission, Communications Commission, Shade Tree Commission, Department of Public Works, and Finance. The mayor and council and residents of the Borough of Oakland extend their gratitude to you for your service to the Borough of Oakland and wish you continued success. Linda H. Swager, Borough of Oakland Mayor, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
You're going to snow when those babies are born.
I will. I'll send a picture when the babies are born. It's been the privilege and the honor of my life to serve this community.
And with that, I'll entertain a motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No one? You don't have to raise your hand. It's open.
Dave Richardson, 320 Raffle Valley Road.
Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. I don't know if you noticed today, but the Borough County Road Department was out on Raffle Valley Road filling up all the craters. I've been calling them for the last 3 weeks, asking them when the heck are they going to fix the road. And I had mentioned to them the fact that there was something in the works about running a sewer line down the middle. So no sense them resurfacing the road, which hasn't been done in 20 years, if they're going to tear it up again.
2023.
That's when they're going to do it? Okay, because, I mean, that's when they're going to do the sewer line?
No, that's what they're going to do the roads.
Oh, okay. I see. I go over to the Copper Tree Mall quite often, and that, the market over there, you know,
Yes, the great, what is it, the great, the giant market, thank
yeah,
you.
the giant fruit market, every time I go over there, their plastic bags are all over the parking lot. It's terrible. They don't come out and pick them up. You know, I even said something to the manager one day. I said, hey, how about cleaning the place up out here? They have them in dispensers outside the door, and the wind comes along and just picks them up, and they're all over the parking lot, right?
Well, in another week, they won't be allowed.
Well, that's true. Right, but, one other thing, I've mentioned this several times when Frank Fiore was the traffic officer in town.
Frank, yes.
Okay. Where River Road comes off of West Oakland Avenue
Right.
and dead ends into Spring Street.
Mm-hmm.
Stop sign there, and then you make a right, and there's a little left, okay?
Mhm.
Well, that next stop sign, which is cars coming from the trestle, okay, now,
Right.
it's not a legal stop sign. And I can't tell you how many times I've come through there and almost got hit head-on by people flying through there and don't pay attention to the stop sign. And they say, well, it's not a legal stop sign. Well, I said, maybe it should be. It's very dangerous. I mean, it's like this, and it's, you know, it's going to happen one of these days. Somebody's going to get hurt.
Richard, will you talk to our traffic officer, making inquiries on that?
Sure.
Thank you. Most people don't know, actually, that's very interesting, because most people, the general public, doesn't know the difference between a legal stop sign and not a legal stop sign.
Because they look the same. Just,
Right,
you know.
exactly.
But the thing was, I came through there one day, and I was halfway into the turn, this guy comes flying around the corner with a big pickup truck, and we met head-on. So I went up around, and I said, you know, there's a stop sign there. So I continued on. I go to pull in my driveway. He's on my tail. He's following me into my house.
Hope you call the police.
So I stopped my vehicle, and I went to get out, and he backed out and took off before I could get his license number.
Sorry.
So I know a lot of people cut through there, you know, coming off at Skyline Drive to go up the industrial park.
We've had many talks. Do you remember when you did the study with the speed bumps, right? We've done all kinds of studies on River Road, and so Mr. Kunz will talk to the police on that.
Tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out to us.
Thank you.
You stayed.
Yeah, Mike Guanino, 34 Hopper Street. Not saying what I thought I was going to say tonight. But I just real quick, you mentioned the Roosevelt and Truman area. Just keep in mind, that's where the soccer field is, and we have very little parking there. So we need parking on those roads. So I think that might be some of the issues, unless we have another access to another parking lot, the old Morgan property or something, which I don't think we can use, but we need parking, especially sometimes there's like 4 teams down here at the same time. Just keep that in mind.
Well, I question because Truman cuts off, and then that short strip becomes Roosevelt, and I didn't think that was the problem. But they were stopping, there were no
people park
parking
all
there.
the way
Residents who approached me were talking specifically about Truman.
Right, there is parking allowed on one side of the street on Roosevelt.
Okay. All right, I'm just going with what I saw in the work session. All right, but Truman, just keep in mind that's part of the issue.
Oh, yes.
And I want to thank Grant. Thank you very much for everything you've done. Who thought we would have gotten cannabis done in this town? So thank you. Yeah, it's a great committee. I've worked with Grant, with the Cannabis Committee, as well as with the Recreation Commission, and you did a lot in a couple of years. You really did a lot. And sorry to see you leave. As I offered you a place in my basement, but good luck to you, and I know you're going to do well.
Even with the twins.
Even with the twins, yeah.
Who would have thought we would have gotten that done, and we did.
We did, for sure.
That Cannabis Committee was...
And Pat did a great job, too.
It was great.
But when we came in, but really, I don't see that happening without Grant Van Eck, so thank you.
That Cannabis Committee, we had members on totally against, members totally for, some in the middle, and we all did research, and we worked together, and we brought our ideas together, and we did investigations, and that's how we came up with such a great plan.
Volunteer-led, not government.
And yes. Anyone else?
Philomena LaForgia, Oakland, 54 Saratoga, Oakland, New Jersey. I really just wanted to say thank you to Grant as well. You know, a year ago, we're actually opposite, because when I was little, I never wanted to get into politics. And someone said to me about a year ago, do you know Grant? And I was like, no, not really. But you do inspire people, and I'm going to miss you and wish you well with your family.
Thank you.
Feelings mutual.
Anybody else?
Deb Mutterer, 101.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. You have to say your name.
Deb Mutterer, 101 Walnut Street. Again, thank you. Thank you for starting our Access for All. And we are truly going to miss you.
And I hope you continue Access for All. Don't stop.
We will not stop
Thank
because
you.
he got us started. We'll
you,
keep
Deb.
it going.
Thanking you.
My number's not changed, we'll all keep in touch.
We all have his cell phone on speed dial. Anybody else? Motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Bills to be paid. $1,869,466.36. So moved.
Second.
And as long as everybody read the bills list, you can vote. Roll call.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Saliani.
Yes.
Councilman Slisinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Eck.
Yes.
Motion to close.
So moved.
Mayor, I just have one quick thing. I forgot to report on Patriots Way Bridge. Real quick, the next follow-up inspection is going to be June 22nd. As you know, the borough applied for put three resolutions forward for federal grants. Now, here's the big one. The estimated cost is now $6 million to replace the bridge. It has gone up 600.
Actually 7 now.
Seven.
You missed the second, his
Did I?
two.
Okay.
Johnson, another
We got
reading.
nothing
I didn't want to say
Seven.
this.
Wow, so I mean, we've gone from five to $7 million.
Did it go up again since the last email?
That's what I was asking, what time it was.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Mayor.
Yes.
Motion to close.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Our next meeting is right here, Wednesday, May 11th. See you then. I like 6:30.
I love it. Even said, even the executive said, awesome. I think